Oh, good morning. Welcome everybody. Got my coffee. These 8 o'clock ones, it seems like in the wintertime, I keep saying this, they always seem to come a lot faster. It's like I'm racing around to grab on the live stream. I seem to be dawdling in the morning and when it's dark and cold out. But good morning, welcome. We'll let the people roll in. It always takes a few minutes, I think, for YouTube to push out the live stream. So we'll let people arrive before we talk about today's topic, today's investments, all that kind of good stuff. If you're watching this on the replay, it'd be great to have you join us live. We go live Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to about 8:45, 9 o'clock, and we talk about investing. We talk about our TFSAs. We talk about portfolio. We try and pull up some news. Today's a big news day, obviously, with the Bank of Canada. We will get into that, and it's good. I still need my coffee. Grab our coffee. It's a good way, I think, to start the day. We'll see who's here. If people are watching, don't be afraid if it's your first time watching to say hi. We've always got a good group of people that seem to come on, and you can ask the questions. I'll try and answer them. A lot of times the community will be able to answer them even better than I can a lot of times. So if you have questions about your investments or different things like that, we're it's all a good crew. So we'll see who's here. We've got a couple people that have said good morning so far. So Nadia, yeah, we'll get to that part. Nadia, good morning, welcome. Hopefully you got your coffee. Maybe you spat out your coffee when you read that this morning for the Bank of Canada news, but we will get into that. 50 basis points, 0.5%. That is the one big news thing that I have to pull up. So we will get to that. Promise. And Stan, good morning, welcome. Always good to have you. And Brian is back. Good morning. As we're watching, don't forget, hit the like button. We'll say that once. Thanks, everybody. Helps the channel. Channel's doing good. Been good. These live streams have been really a lot of fun to jump on, see how things are going, and that is a good morning. Exactly, Rod. I took a little bit of look this morning to start off with. We see a little sliver of green on there, which is nice from those past 2 days that were kind of ugly. So it is nice to see, a little bit. Let me pop up and see what's happening right now. But it is. There we go. So up a little bit. I was tempted. I kind of got my eyes on a couple things, Rod, that are down that I want to build up in my portfolio. Obviously the VDY and VFE, but I do want to build. I still want to build up my position on Tesla, and it's coming down. So it's that might be something I might jump onto. I wasn't planning to do a little deposit, but we'll see how that goes. Abigail, good morning, Abigail. Welcome. And Zach is here. Good morning, Zach. How are you? That's good. Most of the regulars are here. I haven't seen MC yet. Maybe they haven't piped in yet, but we'll see. And haven't seen Candace yet. Candace must be, with a bit of green in the market, might be trying to make some day trading money today somehow. So on there. And actually, Candace had a great comment. I finally posted. If you haven't caught the regular video updates on the channel, I posted yesterday, so you can catch it after this stream if you want to go watch it. If you haven't seen it yet, I posted finally a portfolio update. Did it yesterday. So Rod, unfortunately, it was read yesterday, but it was good to finally get that out there. Lost a bit in there, but that's the way it seems to be going lately. But I finally got that out, so you can check that out. But no, Candace did leave a comment, and her comment was I can't wait to see my portfolio in a bull market, with a little wink, a little smiley winking face. I can't wait either. Hopefully that's the thing. We can hopefully all look back at this time and pat ourselves on the back for sticking through everything and just slowly building our TFSAs or whatever you're all invested in. So there we go. So green day today. Hopefully, let's keep it going. Maybe we'll finish off that wave. We don't have a turnaround, but I think we're looking. I think maybe this is the turnaround. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I think the big thing too is waiting for what happens in the States with their rate. With all their rate in the Fed next coming up in a week's time, around roughly. So let's pull up our news because we are in Canada, and this is obviously going to be on, I think, probably every coffee or water cooler if you're at the office today, or maybe every Zoom call or what have you. But Bank of Canada hikes benchmark rate by another 50 basis points. So maybe a surprise to some people, maybe not a surprise. I did a poll yesterday on the community tab, and according to the results of that, the community was actually right. Let me pull up the actual results of this so we can see, and I'll bring back this article. We can kind of go through it. Definitely. Let's pull up the poll, because the poll called it right there. So 61 votes, 50 basis points, 64% of people called it. A few people called 75. I threw that one in there because I didn't think that was coming. I was predicting 25 basis points. So even though 50 is not a surprise to me, it was a little bit. And I think with this one, so the community is right. A lot of smart people out there with these predictions. And let's pull up the other article. And I think this one, we'll read through it a bit. They've kind of, it seems like from here, what I'm reading here. So they raised the overnight rate 50 basis points, the highest level since 2008. So it was only, I guess, a slim majority of economists had expected a 50 basis point increase. And from what I was reading going into this too, is the market was kind of pricing in a 25 basis point hike. So it's higher than that. So that is definitely going to start impacting. I think people will start to maybe feel this one more. I was having a conversation, texting a friend this morning, talking about the rate increase, because the first message I had was 50 basis points, and I was messaging back and forth. And I think this is maybe one that people are maybe really going to pay attention to. I have that kind of feeling because anybody that has any kind of floating debt, especially home line of credit or line of credit that's all of a sudden going up again, it's I think going to start to. It's always kind of lagged, right? But I think this one, people are going to feel this one because it was bigger than I think maybe a lot of people were expecting that they were going to do. But with that, it's kind of looking like people may be reading into this as in terms of the language. And we talked about the language of it yesterday. It's kind of the language of the report and the press release coming out is kind of like they're ready to kind of, after this, take not a pause but a slowdown. The quote here is take its foot off the gas pedal when it comes to interest rate hikes. So maybe in the new year, this is obviously the last one before the new year. So 50 basis points just in time for Christmas, not necessarily a great thing, but possibly taking the foot off the gas. So we might see some slower increases in the new year, back to normally what they would do is like 25 basis points, that kind of thing. And we'll see if that happens. I don't know. Anybody has thoughts, do chime in. It's always interesting to hear Nadia's mentioning here. You really expected 25 basis points. It's going to hurt a lot of people. Looks like I'll be taking an early vacation. Oh, because I know you were in work for that lending work. So possibly, yeah, that's the thing. People, I think people will start to feel this. They'll start to get their bills. I think come January is when people will get there. I think a lot of people, but I think a lot. Nadia, from what we've been reading too, but it doesn't seem like it because you read spending, Black Friday spendings up and more. And if you go out to the grocery store, I haven't been to a mall in ages, but from everybody I kind of talked to that has been out shopping or going to Costco, going to all these places, it's like jam packed, and it doesn't seem to be slowing anybody down. I can even kind of say that from going to grocery stores when I could go do the curbside pickup usually once a week, once every week and a half or so, and like going into the parking lot there is always busy. So I think that's what's happening. We've had that in the stream in the conversation before, Nadia, like people putting more. I think we talked about a couple of days ago, people putting more on their credit cards and that to make ends meet. But I think it comes a point, right, where you can only do that for so long, where it really starts to take a pinch. So we'll definitely see what happens in the new year. The new year will be interesting in terms of what people have put on, on their debt, credit cards and that kind of stuff for Christmas spending. Once those numbers get brought in. I was reading on that kind of note. I was reading a good. I was on Twitter this morning, and I was reading I'll pull it up if I can share it because I saved it. And it's just somebody mentioning about people in groceries. Like we always talk about how groceries are so expensive, right? And it was basically like this person was saying, like, when I see groceries that I deem like hideously overpriced, he's comparing he buys something else. So a box of Cheerios is $8, saying, guess who's eating oatmeal? And I think that's the thing. So many Canadians seem to buy exactly the same groceries each week, and then he's noticed, like, on social media, like they'll buy groceries and they'll buy the same thing every week and say, look how expensive these are, but not make any change to their habits and spending, right? Like, and one person had commented back, like, one of the pictures they saw was like, how am I supposed to live with this inflation? And it was a picture of like the basket, and it contained like a Starbucks brand coffee sweetener, so something that costs like $10, where you could buy a bag of sugar for half the price, and then it would probably last longer. So people have to, I think, start to maybe look at what they're spending their things on. But we're seeing it maybe a little bit, like obviously car sales are down, housing stuff. Nadia, you would know, housing market is obviously, not in that feverish like it was the last couple of years. And also, like we talked about yesterday, lumber, right? A lot of these things are coming down in price. So I think that interest rates are having the effect. But I guess it's just taking longer than what the bank is wanting it to take. So we're getting 50 basis points today. That's the big news today. So if anybody has any other points on that, do let me know. Let it fire away in the comments. Most people are kind of reading it as a pivot. So I mean, I guess that's a good thing for the market. But again, the market will have to really see what happens in the States. If the States is on the same page as Canada, and they start to kind of really take the foot off the gas, and the rates are. It's not so much what they do with the rate, but almost the wording. If the wording is similar, we might see a bit more, like, as Rod said, a bit more green in the day. So we'll have to see how that. We'll definitely have to see how that pans out going forward. So we'll see. That was the only. I mean, that was enough. I think the news. It's doom and gloom. I guess if you have a lot of floating. No, I shouldn't say doom and gloom. It's the wrong word. But if you have floating debt, I think be careful with what what you're spending on. Do not get further. Do not try and get further in debt. And when I was talking about that grocery, I was messaging my friend talking about rates increasing and everything else have been getting more expensive. Groceries expensive, and eating out, and we talk about saving money, trying to do different things to try and save money to invest. And it's like I had mentioned that I still haven't been out to a restaurant for. I can't remember the last time I was in a restaurant eating dinner, and I literally just said I'd rather, instead of spending $100 at a restaurant, I'd rather just take that $100 and put it into my TFSA or RSP or something like that, and then at least it's not gone forever, So, and then cook a nice dinner at home instead. And that's let me see what else we got here. I had one more article, and I know some people have it. I know some people are invested in this, so I figured I'd pull it up. It's not in my portfolio, but I know a couple people have this. There we go. It's good old Dollarama. So Dollarama had their earnings. So their third quarter profit rose compared with a year ago. They earned a 201.6 million. For the 13-week period ended October 30th, compared to a profit of 183.4 million from the same quarter from the previous year. So obviously that kind of goes with what people are maybe going to these discount places more to spend. So I know a few people have Dollarama in their portfolio. I can't remember exactly who, but I've had a few comments about Dollarama. So if they're in your portfolio, you're thinking of adding them to your portfolio, they seem to be doing okay. on that one. Another popular one, I think people have been in that kind of space with it comes down to lending too, is go easy, was I think a popular one as well for a lot of people. And the last one, the news feed is definitely definitely hitting the Bank of Canada, most of the stuff talking about today. So that's kind of mostly what I was able to find that was to talk about. It'll be interesting to see how this pans out. I'll have to have a phone call with my we'll have to get Rob back on the live stream. He's in the mortgage industry in Ontario, and from what I'm reading, in Ontario it's really slowed down there, even compared to the West Coast where I am. So I don't know what everybody's in different provinces that's watching the stream, but if anybody could chime in their area from what they're reading or seeing on the street, it's probably, I think, across the board, it's just more expensive to borrow, so people aren't, unfortunately. And he was saying that, I mean, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he was saying he's ready to take the rest of the month off. And I think Nadia works, she's in the lower mainland, on the mainland here, and she can take the rest of December off. But I'm kind of in Christmas. Nadia was mentioning taking an early Christmas vacation, but I don't, and everybody else has the same. Once the kind of middle of December hits, it really does feel like you want to just take the rest of the month off. It was the first day for me was yesterday, waking up and thinking, I don't want to work anymore for the rest of the year. I have to, but it's kind of like, I don't want to work anymore for the rest of the year. I want everything to kind of be done. Let's deal with it. Start the next year fresh, and just end it, so we can have a bit of a relaxing time over the holidays, which hopefully everybody will be able to do, is get a bit of time off. I think the way that the dates are this year, it's going to be kind of long. There's always that, that time in between Christmas and New Year's and stuff, that those extra days off are always nice. You can literally sit and relax and do nothing. So I'm going to spend it for the new year. I always like to go over my portfolio, like everything in the portfolio, and kind of as a focus for the following year. And then the one thing I'm going to be starting is doing that automatic, like starting the beginning of January. I'll start the automatic deposit and purchase into my TFSA. Now that Wealthsimple does that, I haven't started it up yet. I'm probably going to be doing it into, I think, VDY for every. I want to try and do weekly, so like every Monday or something like that, and try and dollar cost average into that way. So that's what I have to set up. That's kind of one of my projects. I'll look over I don't plan on selling anything in my portfolio. So, and I don't plan on really any major changes. That was kind of the main one. So I don't know if anybody has any other things that they do. Maybe what do they kind of do in the new? Do they look at their portfolio in the new year and kind of go over stuff? It'll be interesting how people treat that, because it's kind of a good time to, I think, really take a good look at everything. And I'll be looking at my RSP and all that kind of stuff to make sure I'm putting enough and more into it, because also too, I keep saying it, but it's like on my mind, because every month it's like closer and closer is to have my car paid off. So I'll be able to start putting that into investments too, which is nice. And Abigail. So hopefully Bank of Canada will put a pause on further increase. I hope so. I mean, yeah, we kind of hope so too. I guess from the sounds of it, they are Abigail, at least slowing down. We'll have to see. I think the next one. When is the next one? Let me just see. I think it's January. I have to jump. Schedule for 2023. Let me see when it actually is. They've published their schedule. So for 2023, the first one is, so it's not for a bit. It's not until January 25th. So we do have a bit of, there you go, quicker than I am, January 25th. So we do have a bit of time to digest this and maybe have this work into the system a little bit. Twitter. Rod's recently on Twitter. Do you have any good market guys to follow on there? Gareth Soloway. I've never heard of Gareth Soloway. There's a few I follow, Rod. I'll put I don't tweet that much, I'm more of like a lurker on there. But you can find me. I'll put my Twitter name in the chat so you can see it, and I'll post it. And follow me, Rod, and then I'll just maybe tag some that I can pass you on that way. It's probably the easier way to do it. I follow a lot. I do follow a lot of. I'll leave it up there for a bit longer. It's crazy. I have a 3-letter Twitter name. I've had Twitter for so long. I follow. I do follow a lot of more like crypto stuff on Twitter. But I do follow. There's a few that are good that pop up on my stream. Let me see if I can find some quickly too. It does a really. I find Twitter does a good job though, as Rod, as once you kind of start interacting with it, like the algorithms will start to get to know what you like and what you like to read. So there's some kind of good ones on there. That I do follow. So yeah, just follow me along, and I'll try and tag you on a couple today. It's a good place for news. I find it's a good place to really follow like stuff that, breaking news sounds, it's cliche, but a lot of times the news will hit Twitter first before you start reading it online somewhere, so you can kind of find some good information. And there's a lot of good. There's a lot of very smart people on there. I find that I like to listen to. I don't know if I'll pass one. Is have to find it. Is here. I do enjoy reading. Hold on. Let me copy her username. It's like an investment she's an investment kind of strategist. You might have heard of Lynn before, Rod. This is her contact here. I'll put it in the chat, Rod, and I'll put it up there. Lynn Alden. She's great. She does a lot of interviews on podcasts and YouTube and vlogs, and like not podcasts, but like blog interviews online, like podcast style interviews. She's always really interesting to listen to, but she's more macro, but she's good to follow. She's good to follow. I always enjoy her her threads and I've signed up. She's got a free newsletter on her website as well. You can sign up for. But I follow her more on Twitter, but I find her interviews she's got some good interviews on YouTube. And so yeah, so you've seen her. Yeah, she's in a lot of places. So she's very good to listen to. I think she's very smart. Some of the things are obviously go way over my head, but she does do a good job. I think when she's in talking on, like, her Twitter can be sometimes a bit more formal and advanced, but when she's talking in an interview, depending on who she's with, the interviewers can do a really good job of getting her to dumb it down is the wrong word, but explain it in terms that I think everybody with even a tiny bit of investment knowledge can follow, especially if you maybe watch it once or maybe watch some of the parts twice to kind of catch the stuff that she's talking about. But she's really interesting to talk about. And if anybody's looking for her, she has a ton of videos on YouTube. Just search her name and a lot of them will come up. She's had some recent ones on. I follow a channel called it is more about digital currencies, but it's a channel on YouTube called What Bitcoin Did, and it's a interviews, podcast style interviews, and she's on that quite regularly, usually once a month she's on there, and she's done a good job. They don't just talk about Bitcoin, they talk about all sorts of stuff, the environment and politics, and it's a good podcast to watch or listen to. You can listen to it or watch it on YouTube because they do film it. She's on there, so she's good if you haven't seen it. And I did not know she was on Kitco News as well. So there you go. Yeah, smart. She's smart. She'd be a great person to. I don't know if I'd ever get her on here, but she'd be great to listen to. I think she'd be a really interesting person to have like just have a dinner with, just to talk to her and listen to. She really interesting, really interesting. Yeah. So I will. I'll try and send you. I'll try and send you a few. I also do follow. What's his name? He's out of Calgary. I think he's out of Calgary. He's he's a portfolio manager out of from one of these companies, but he's also a columnist in the Financial Post. Martin Pelletier. He's good here, Rod, as well. I don't mind some of the stuff that I'll post it on there. He's good too on Twitter. I find him interesting. He's big into oil. But lots of smart people on the Twitter, and lots of I find too there's lots of accounts you can follow for like basics on Twitter. Like if you're looking for just starting out, things to invest in, that kind of stuff. It can be good. I guess take everything as a start, like anything, even watching YouTube or anything. Anytime you see someone else talking about buying something, use it as a starting off point, and then dig into more research. Just because someone is talking about buying a certain stock or cryptocurrency or whatever, don't jump into anything without doing further research on it to make sure it's right for you. It's kind of simple advice, but it's easy to forget and maybe get caught up in something because someone's pushing it for some reason. But yeah, that's the one kind of warning I would say on Twitter is still do your research. But there's a lot of good people. There is a lot of good people on there. If you're interested in Rod, if you're interested in kind of more of the mortgage side with rates and housing market and stuff like that, Canadian wise, you can check out Ron. I'll put that up as well. So I guess there's a few here. Did it go up there, Ron? Yeah, Ron, mortgage guy. He's a broker. Ron Butler. He's a broker big brokerage out of Ontario. He's kind of got his finger on the pulse of what's happening with I should leave that up longer, with banks and with mortgage lending. Smart guy, really smart guy. He's been in the business for a very long time, and he's not afraid. I enjoy reading his stuff because he doesn't sugarcoat things. I guess a lot of times you see people if they're in their respective industry on anywhere on social media, they're always, and I think real estate can be maybe a bit more, as they always kind of glossify, sometimes overly optimistic on things, but he calls it out like he sees it and isn't afraid to say, he is in the mortgage business. He's actually not afraid to tell people don't buy a house, like that kind of thing. So he's definitely a bear right now in the housing market, but he's a smart guy. He has a really good knowledge of the business. I think he's been doing it for, I want to say, like probably close to 40 years, or at least it seems like. And he does have contact, like he does have through his business, like really good kind of insights and with contacts with a lot of higher up in the industry. So he's got some good insights. So he'd be worth following as well on there. So a lot of good things. A lot of good always kind of people to follow on Twitter. There we go. Good stuff. Lots of good sharing. So I'll have to follow you. If you follow me, I'll have to double check here. I'm always kind of weird if I'm not a Twitter pro. I think it notifies me if you followed me. Not yet, but it will. So you can find me. That'd be good. My photo on Twitter is it's not me. It's an NFT because I bought an NFT for charity. So that's what it is on there. So it won't look like me. It'll be a silly monkey. So it's me. It's not me. It's me, but it's not me. And I think I talked about it a few streams, like a couple streams ago, a few weeks ago. I bought an NFT it wasn't very expensive by any means, but it went to a charity to help build a school somewhere, if I'm not mistaken, the profits from it. So that was it. But it looks like we are again seeing a bit of green today, so that's nice. That's nice. In terms of as we're kind of almost more than halfway through the stream, it always goes quickly. Is channel going forward? I will get the. I still have that. I will film. I should have time today to film the update for my dividends of back in November. I still haven't got that yet, so I will get that up on the channel. Catching up, playing catch up. But then in terms of going over throughout Christmas, we will be running the fire log on Christmas Day, so we'll have that. I'll have that posted so people can tune in and just watch the fire. That by popular demand. I know Candace wanted to see that for the day, so we'll run that starting the Christmas Day. We'll pop that up on the channel, but probably take a bit of a break from the live streams once kind of, I think next week is over for the most part. We'll see how the timing and stuff goes. It'd be nice to kind of take a bit of a break from YouTube as well. But that being said, I think with some time off, obviously between Christmas and New Year's, I'll probably just pop on. Obviously, there's going to be lots of dates that are closed on the market, so I have to kind of figure out, if anything's. It's that time of year where nothing really happens, right? So we'll probably adjust the streams as well. So kind of just turn on notifications, because what I'll probably end up doing is jumping on at some different times just to kind of catch some different people. So if there's different things kind of happen, if anything kind of does happen, that's the plan. But then starting in the new year, we'll carry through. But we'll go for a while till closer to Christmas. So anyways, and Jason, good morning. Got your coffee, good stuff. And then going forward for the year. So if anybody, like, we have a good group. If we have a good group here, I do really enjoy it. But if anybody has ideas or things that they want to possibly see more of, or maybe less of, let me know. You can always reach out, obviously in a comment. That I'll save it. But if you think of something or you want to see, and if there's something you ever want to have brought up, possibly in a stream, is just a shoot. You can even on the channel, you can leave a comment on any video. I'll see it. I see all the comments. I try to get back to everybody, so that would be a good way to get in touch. There's also an email. If you go to the about page on the channel, you can also shoot me an email if there's something in particular that you maybe wanted to bring up. If there may be somebody if there's maybe another, the one thing that was a lot of fun was when I did the stream with Candace, with the other creators. So if there's anybody that's I don't think we've got anybody on right now that has a channel, but I know there's a few people I get comments, and so if there's anybody else that has a channel and wants to do another collaboration for something, I'd be more than happy to. That was a lot of fun. That was one of the top. It's funny, one of the top streams. Not even we talked a little bit about investing at the end, but it was a good hour. So we'll do more of those, I think, in the new year. Try and get some of those set up as well. It's always nice to change things up a little bit. And did anybody, I guess, looking today, yesterday after I posted my video, there's a few people that kind of bought some things. I don't know if he's ever been on. I could be she. It's the hard part. But Bear Investing is one of the followers of the channel, and they bought some. This is one I hadn't heard of. It was the let me search things. I can never remember. It was he bought the U.S. The Schwab U.S. Dividend ETF SCHD, and that might be something interesting that I might have to look at. Does anybody have a U.S. dividend ETF that they like? Because that might be something good to maybe diversify the portfolio a little bit if I'm looking in the new year, as I'm kind of researching things to look into. I've got BTC.Y for Canadian, but it'd be interesting. And I mean, there's VFE. I mean, there's some quarterly dividends on that, but it might be interesting to find if I could find a good, like, the US version of BTC.Y. There must be from Vanguard as well, but I wonder what other people have, if other people have that in their portfolio. And he had that he bought that for his RSP. So obviously you won't get the same withholding taxes. I guess with a TFSA, you wouldn't pay the I don't know. Maybe someone knows that. For the U.S. stocks, do you pay the withholding tax? I don't think you do. I'd have to double check that. I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, I have to double check that. But he bought some in his RSP, and then there was also a comment, and I'm wondering if anybody's on here. VYM. Vanguard High Dividend Yield ETF. Is that now, Jason? Is that is that all US? I guess it would be. I'll have to look at that one. Currency in US dollar. Okay, yeah, US. Yeah. Okay. Vanguard High Dividend Index Fund. I'll definitely check that one out. VYM. I'm gonna bookmark that one and add it to my watch list to check out, because that might be kind of good to add. I don't have. Yeah, I think that's what it is, right? If it's in your RSP, there's no fee for the withholding tax. I'll have to look into that. I think you're right there, Rob. To double check that. I never like to get give any tax advice that I'm not sure. I'll have to go on. I'm sure Wealthsimple will type that on their FAQ somewhere, or I could actually look back. I can just probably look back because I would have had some probably dividends from some. No, I don't have any. Well, Vanguard, I guess, but I might have some. Yeah, I have to look. I'll search that out. I get questions. I do get the odd question on my channel about tax stuff, and I'm like, I'm not the guy to ask. You want to go to your accountant. If asking me if for certain things, it'd be terrible to give the wrong advice, because I'm not. I'm definitely not an accountant. Yeah, I'll have to double check that. So BYM, I will check that one out. And the last kind of comment I had yesterday too was which is interesting. We talked about a little bit. Somebody in the fund hasn't been on live stream, but the fundamental, he or she, it's hard to purchased Telus. That was the one that they had purchased yesterday. So Telus always seems to be a popular one on the channel. But they did also ask is about, and I wonder if anybody here is on it too. You've probably seen that app, that finance app, Blossom. Does anybody, let me know in the comments? Let's give a thumbs up or a yes or no if you're on Blossom. I have that downloaded. I'm not on there very much. I've talked about it a little bit before, and I kind of mentioned I don't like how it always keeps asking me to register my brokerage on there, because I just don't really see the point. I want to do it. I would go in to do it manually, but it keeps popping up asking me to register brokerage. So I've kind of really just not done the app. But I know there's a few other, some of the more popular YouTube people are on there. And Rod, if I don't know if you have, you're looking for finance stuff, there might be a few people on there that you could follow if you're into that. I always find it hard because you stretch yourself so thin. And you just waste too much time on apps and sites that you're better off focusing on certain areas. And that's what I find with me. I'd rather focus my time on this YouTube channel than, be over here and over there and over here, all this kind of stuff. I don't have Facebook. YouTube, I have Twitter, and that's kind of it. So it seems to work for me, but I don't know if other people have Blossom or have checked it out on there. But I just don't like the sign up thing that they're making you. I get why they're doing it, right? Because they want to try and get people in there. I don't know how they're making money yet, but I don't know. Interesting. It's just another place where a lot of people will share where they've purchased, that kind of stuff. So there we go. All right. Well, we're coming up to about 8:45 here. Time flies when we start to ramble on. So I just want to thank everybody for joining on the stream. It's always a good thing. We'll be back live tomorrow, 8:00 regular time. So as always, it's always appreciated. Thanks to everybody for dropping in, reading the news. If you're watching this again on the replay and you're not live, or if you are live and haven't subscribed yet, make sure you look down below that you're subscribed to the channel, and so you can catch the next one. If you turn on notifications, you'll get notified when the streams go live. It'd be great to have you along. Hit that like, all that kind of good YouTube stuff. It really helps the channel. I do appreciate it. Channel's growing. Still getting. It's nice to have all the regulars that are joining in and viewing the videos, catching the live streams. It seems like every week it's kind of growing and growing slowly but surely. So much like our portfolios is slowly moving up. So it's always nice to see. I think it's good. It's still a lot of fun to do. So it makes it fun with everybody that's joining in to the live streams and commenting on the videos and watching the videos. It makes it worthwhile. And a good comment on, yeah, I feel like just another app for being pushed by people to get a commission. Yeah, it just doesn't appeal to me. I'm probably not their target demographic, maybe age-wise or something. I don't know. It's just not my thing. So I share. If I didn't have a YouTube channel and I wanted to share my portfolio with other people, I would, but I just don't see time-wise. I don't have time to be everywhere and every place to be able to share stuff like that. And I don't really like with Blossom-wise, like I don't necessarily care about followers or who's, and I'm not looking. I think there's a way on there because you can gift people from what I like. You can gift people like $1 because they have certain things where you learn and earn. And then you can take that and you can gift it to other people that create content on there. I just can't be bothered. Plain and simple. I just can't be bothered to do it. This is between this YouTube channel, my other YouTube channel, and my actual job. I just don't have time to be everywhere at once. And when I'm not working, like when my day's finished and I'm finished YouTube and I'm finished that kind of stuff, I just want to relax. I'll watch a podcast, listen to a podcast, watch something on YouTube, and do that kind of thing, and not focus on I don't want to work 24 hours a day, because it turns into work if you're looking to build that community. But if you're just going there to share, and not thinking about that and just maybe going to learn, but I find that's better on Twitter because it's not really asking me for anything, and it seems to be a lot easier to lurk on Twitter for certain things like that. So just my 2 cents. Maybe try and, if someone has Blossom that likes it, maybe come on the live stream and talk about it. Maybe I could get them on or something like that, or somebody, but I'd maybe be the bad person to have interviewing them because I just don't like it. so maybe not. But anyways, that's all for today, everybody. Thanks so much for joining. We're coming up to 9 o'clock, so do appreciate it. On the way out, we will, as always, leave with the fireplace. Let's relax into our day. I'm gonna finish my coffee, and hopefully we can end on a bit of a green note on this day of the Bank of Canada rate increase. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll catch you tomorrow.